All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. Party time. All right, we're going to jump in. Got a powerful message scheduled for you tonight. Kind of an introduction, if you will, to the series that we got coming up, the next series that we got coming up on November the 2nd. Tonight we want to really explain and illuminate and simplify how the arc that is on affects our beliefs that end up conflicting with our core design, which causes blocks. That just simply means that there is a frequency wave vibration that we're going to be discussing when we talk about your original expression from source that sit from what is called the Polaris or the North Star. That just simply means that, you know, God gives us everything that we need for life and godliness. It's part of the PLEROMA or the Peru or the way that God expresses him, her, or itself. But because of our beliefs that conflict with our core design, that interferes with our child, or it blocks. It causes this internal block. And so tonight's message, again, is as it's leading up and preparing us for another class to peel back another layer that allows us to be comfortable in our own skin. It allows us to be able to understand that each and every one of us have been given everything that we need for life and godliness. So it's past tense. So we already have everything that we need for life and godliness. Yet there's something that is blocking that pure expression of everything that we need for life and godliness. That is, many of us, we have this intuition. It's that woman sixth sense. It's this inner knowing. So we have it. And it's working, but there is something that is limiting our ability to really walk in that inner knowing. And so that's what I noticed, the difference between the successful people, spiritually successful, we're talking, not the people that we see on TV, the dominant culture, blah, blah, blah. They're all part of, you know, the narrative, whatever that narrative may be. But what we're talking about is regular day individuals who we have a specific frequency. That just simply means that you have a certain way that you live your life, and you've been that way since you were born. That's your natural God-given expression. And so the intuition works in a way where you are able to connect your consciousness with God's consciousness. Now, in science, they call that, you know, quantum consciousness. Now, in religion, we just call that, you know, spirit. We call that, you know, walking in the spirit, being filled with the spirit, you know, being saved. All of these are different words. These are different terms that talk about how we connect with the cosmic or the quantum realm. Now, the next series that starts on November really delves into the science behind this connection. So what we're talking about, that water is a universal solvent. So that means that you are made up of water. So what you are a being of light immersed in a body of water. The universal solvent speaks a universal language. That is math and music. That expresses a universal code. That's you. You are literally a code that's expressed underwater. And it's interesting because dolphins and, you know, whales, they communicate with each other using sonograph, and we are sonoluminescent. Really at the core, at the base, that's what you are. So what we're going to be talking about in the next series, and what we are introducing today, is this system that you are from. It's either Andromeda, it's Lyrian, it's Sirian, it's Draconian, it's Palladian, it's Arcturian, it's Orion. There's many different systems out there that we call constellations. Now, these constellations are what we get the word consciousness. So your consciousness is established by your constellation. Everybody has a constellation based upon their blood and based upon their church, which we're going to be discussing in the next series. And so what we're doing today is preparing you, laying the foundation for this next series, at the same time getting you to understand that there is an alternating universe that exists. There is a probable universe that exists. There is a future universe, a future vibration. There's a particular frequency, a particular wave, a particular vibration that already exists. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to really delve into vortex math. We're going to talk about, the different frequencies that make up what we call the Star of David, which is a triangle pointing up and then a triangle pointing down interlocked. That is the solfeggio musical frequencies. This is all notes. For you and I, that just simply means that your soul requires your whole. In other words, your soul requires your whole. So when I say whole, I mean that all of your mind, your will, your imagination, and intellect is all, in order for you to be more successful, it requires the whole, especially now. So now there's a separation taking place. And the separation requires you to be more strategic in your expressions. We look at the situation with Kanye West. And that situation is just a very good example of over an understanding that how did Kanye get his money? So some people are on his side and agree with him. Some people are not. Well, number one is it's a distraction for us regular people because we're not in that income bracket. We put it that way, that frequency. Number two, it's learned helplessness. Because what they're getting ready to do to Kanye West, what you're going to say to yourself, what you're going to feel inside of your body is helpless. Why are you going to feel that way? Because they're getting ready to they're getting ready to strip my boy down. So he's like the big buck male on the plantation who's eyeballing the master, and he got a disposition. Now, he ain't really done nothing really up to upset the master, except he's influencing the other slaves. And the fact that he's a influence, he's putting thought in the other slave's head. Like, shit, we can leave the plantation too. Or, you know what? We don't have to go out there exactly at 6 a.m. to pick the cotton. The big buck male is not going out there at 6 o'clock to pick the cotton. Now, the master really doesn't want to make an example out of him because, he's this breeding male. He may be like Django, they take him out and, he can whoop every other Negro in every other county. So the master doesn't want to make an example out of the big buck male. He want to breed him. He want to go out and have him, spank other Negroes. But the Negro kind of, he won a couple of fights. He's been, spreading his seed around like Johnny Appleseed and taking him to other plantations and he, knocking up, other slaves left and right. So the master's making he go out there, he pick cotton all day, big strong nigga. So that the master, he don't really want to make an example out of this dude because it's not, the master is the one that gave him the disposition because he gave him the opportunity because nobody gets to that level without signing a contract. Nobody. So Kanye is not, so it's same thing with the white side of where they got my boy Alex Jones. So Alex Jones on trial. Alex Jones is found guilty. Alex Jones is, from InfoWars. I remember Alex Jones, they texted him, they fined him a bunch of money. They say Alex Jones, because he said Sandy Hook was, fake. Now that was, Sandy Hook happened in what, 2012? It's 2022. They decided to, hey, Sandy Hook really happened. Come on, man. How did Alex Jones, remember, Alex Jones is the only person on the planet that snuck into the Bohemian Grove and filmed the ceremony with the big owl. Y'all remember that? How the fuck is Alex Jones still alive? Can somebody tell me how is Alex Jones alive? How is Kanye alive? He's walking around pissing off people. If you do what Kanye do, your ass, CIA was clapping your back door and put a bullet in your head, shit, 3 months ago. These Negroes they are working for, I'm going to use the word they. So he said, can I get your numbers up? Like what happened with Will Smith. Hey, we need you to take one for the team. Because we need to keep these Negroes on the plantation. Because this is the age of Aquarius. So what I'll be sharing in the next series is going to be powerful, isn't it? Because it's going to enlighten you so you can see what's going on according to the Bible, especially in, I think it's Luke 12. When you see the man with the pitcher of water go into the city, follow him. So we've got to break down what's happening to yourselves that science doesn't want you to know. Because once you overstand it, I just watched a movie called, I think it was called Black Box. It was, I don't say low budget movie, but it's on Netflix or one of them. It was same story, transferring consciousness, and it was crazy. It's called Black Box, and it had pretty much all black cast. And there was one guy died, and another guy died. But the doctor's son died. She didn't want to let her son go. So she took her son's consciousness and put it in the second guy who died. But they called him just in time. He was brain dead, but his body wasn't gone yet. So she transferred her dead son's brain, but just his consciousness, not his physical brain. And it worked. Now, this narrative has been pushed and shown to us many, many times. It's really one of my best movies, Upgrade. Look at the movie Venom, same thing. So in the movie Upgrade, Netflix, remember, that was called STEM, the thing that they put in the base of his skull. Remember Black Carbon, that series, transferring consciousness. Now, me personally, remember there's a TikTok video floating around of this AI technology that can take any person's and turn your voice into any voice you want it to be, turn your image into anybody you want to be. So if you want to be Donald Trump, you would look exactly like Donald Trump, and you would sound exactly like Donald Trump to the human eye. Virtual reality and reality now is the same. So that means that it's crazy because I can put you, or they can put you in Nebraska, but you in Texas. Because they can get somebody in Nebraska that's about your same height, and they can use that CGI, whatever they call it, and change your face and your voice, and you in a meeting in Nebraska. So I got evidence. I got you on camera in Nebraska committing murder. But you and your family is in Texas. But we got video evidence, bro. Video evidence of you in Nebraska. Your ass going to jail. They say that the technology is out over TikTok. I forgot the name of the thing. The technology, I remember the technology has been out. But it's become more affordable now where Tom, Dick, and Harry can afford it. The average Negro can afford it. Oh, it's getting ready to get spooky. It's getting ready to get freaky deaky. So I really believe whatever, same thing that happened with 50, whenever a, let's say, major star has an accident, goes to a hospital, and is in the hospital for any time more than a day, especially if it's a car accident or a head injury, the person that comes out is not the original person. Now, that boy, the rapper X, remember he said it, all the young dudes are saying it, right? Remember that one dude? It's been 3 or 4 guys on TikTok because I'm not no kid and I forgot their names. But, when I talked about it, and they say, oh, yeah, Triple X and then this dude and most of these young rappers that are dying, they're all saying that shit, they got cloned. Their brain got wiped. They've been forced to do. Lil Nas X, who is that dude? The real Lil Nas X is probably gone. So, yeah, you got a Chinese monkey. Of course he's going to be doing some freaky stuff. See, the science and metaphysics behind how the world, WHIRL, works is now has always been But now, because the arc is on. Now, the ARCHONS, this is a little deep, but this is the introduction. November the 2nd, remember, cost is $149 for early registration. After November the 1st, it goes up to $249 to join us. So I get to talk freely more because this is the stuff that got me kicked off of all social media for, what do they call it? Medical community violations. Because when you start talking about the human cell, because the mitochondrial DNA is immortal. It's funny, the mitochondria is DNA. So when you start talking about what we talked about, mentioned yesterday, in the last series, quantum tunneling, quantum coherence, quantum telepathy, and quantum entanglement, which gives you quantum consciousness. That just simply means that the magnetite crystals, that's in the same thing that the turtles use to navigate, the same thing that the birds use to navigate. It is an internal navigation system that is automatic where you instinctively know where to go left. You just know. You can't explain it, but you just know. You go from being a generalist to a specialist. It activates the mirror neurons so that your neurons really mirror God's. And based upon quantum entanglement, based upon all the studies that come out of Harvard and Yale and Princeton and Brown and all these, like I talk to you guys all the time. Study my boy David Sinclair. This is what, because David Sinclair is a guy that's really been instrumental in coming up with all of this. Not really coming up, but really doing the lab work to prove it in the lab. As I said to you guys, and I told you guys before, the word Yahweh in the ancient text is a description of what we call a sexual act, but it's a spiritual release. It's a spiritual release of dynamic energy. It's a cosmic coherence. It's a portal that is opening. It is what is called timeline jumping. It's a solar event. It's a wave of light that has an effect on your genes. Now, they call it ghost particles. They're trying to duplicate it underground in Switzerland right now with Project CERN. So they're trying to come up with a way to mimic God, because God is already changing your DNA. So they have to try to compete. So that way, the identity shifting, they can hijack your identity. So this is called ARCHON hexagram. The ARCHON hexagram, we're going to be breaking that down, which I talked about in my book, Enoching. This keeps you in this lower 3D dimension using genetics, because your DNA is voice activated. But the voice is not the voice that I'm using with your vocal cords. The voice is the small, still voice, your gut, that feeling, that the way you talk to yourself when you by yourself, when your mouth is closed, especially right before you go to sleep, and as soon as you wake up, there's a little voice in your head that's called the C-terminal domain. This is neuroacoustics. So in the next series, we have to go deeper into the science of three things. Number one, the law of certainty. Black people don't have that. So I got to keep you uncertain. How? If Kanye West said he had $100 million, he went to his bank account and he said $20 million was gone. Y'all saw the TikTok video, he was on TMZ. $20 million. He said the IRS said that he was owed, he owed them some money. Remember, Bank of America told him, come get your shit. They said, we don't want your money in our bank. Now, you don't have money. The bank does. I need everybody to think, because it's already here. Now, when you get paid, is your money in your mattress under the bed like the old folks used to do? Fuck no. Like, my money is in PayPal. Y'all heard what PayPal was going to do before everybody started, acting crazy. PayPal was going to fine you $2,500, $2,500 for every verbal offense. Like the way I get kicked out, I'm in and out of Facebook jail every week. Right now, my Facebook, for the last 6 months, my Facebook feed, it says my Facebook feed is being suppressed due to repeated violations. So you can't even see my posts. A lot of people can't see my posts. That's why a lot of times, that's why I do so much posting, because my YouTube channel, so all of my ability to create income has been suppressed. That's been going on though. So but it got heightened over the last 3 to 6 months. Now, same thing's happening on my TikTok channel. So I got a backup TikTok channel that I started about a month ago. Because my current TikTok channel, I'm getting the notices. Like today, I got 3 community violations off my TikTok channel. For the same thing that I got posted on my other TikTok channel that has no community violations. And so I appeal it, and a lot of times the appeal get overridden. And it's interesting that they just I post a video on TikTok, community violations, video has been removed. Same video I've been posting all week. So the suppression, the cancel culture is already here. But it's designed to affect your money. Because Kanye ain't shit without his money. Nobody is. That's why I laugh at people who talk about you don't need money. Especially Christians who, because they're the first fools that be talking about shit. You know, Jesus got me. I don't need money. Please send it all to me and videotape yourself paying, living without money. It's just comical because people, we've lost the ability to really process information. So it's to think linearly. So linear thinking is the ability to go from A to B. Black people primarily, we don't think that way. We think A to E. We say fuck B, C, and D. We just try to jump. And the universe doesn't work like that. There are principles that are in place. This is a step-by-step process. Now you can go as fast or as slow as you want using auto-suggestion and using self-hypnosis, which is what the Bible calls faith, which is, again, number one, certainty. Kanye got money today. We're going to destroy his character. I don't give a fuck what he says. Whatever he says, people say crazy shit all the time. I've had people say crazy shit to me. Should he say it? Hell, look at Kevin Samuels. Half the shit Kevin Samuels said, I agree with what he said. I don't like the way he said it. He talked about black women like he could have said it better. But I don't know what happened to him when he was, I don't know. Maybe some black women, they didn't give him the cookies when he was a teenager. So now he kissed off at all black women. Look at Dr. Umar Johnson. How he feel around? He walks around and basically he's saying, F white. He just pro-black. I agree with 99.99% of the shit that Dr. Umar Johnson said. How he says it, okay, another study. Everybody on this call, you probably agree with a lot of stuff that I say. But how I say it, y'all don't, when I start bashing Christians, when I start dropping F-bombs, how do y'all feel? Some of you guys don't like it. So I'm the same way. If some of you guys, y'all could counsel me, I probably would. I mean, not you personally, but pick me up. So what's the point? Shit, ain't none of us perfect, man. People are jumping on, and I'm using the Kanye West thing as an example of how I gotta take a big black buck male and I gotta tar and feather this mother in front of all my slaves. So everybody can get the fear of God put back in them. Because you Negroes is getting too riled up. That's all that's going on. It's the same shit that they've been doing, man. Except the average nigga can't see it. This shit is crazy to me. I talk to people every day, dumb as fuck. But they know Jesus though. Most of them. Like, if you can't put 2 and 2 together now, if you're under the age of 40, I'm not talking to you. You still got Similac on your breath. No disrespect. I mean, you new to the game. And if you're a man, shit, if you're under the age of 50, you probably can't fight your way up and whip people bag. It's okay, bro. We don't figure shit out. Men, we always late to the party. Excuse me. But when we get there, we ready to rock and roll. Quantum tunneling is just focus. How many people have that though? Light, energy, wave, timeline jumping is just changing your mind. But the dominant culture, they put a bunch of words on it. So if I decide I'm gonna go to Popeye's chicken sandwich, and then I change my mind, I just change timeline. That's all it is. Every time you change your mind, if I'm gonna go get Popeye's chicken sandwich, and I decide to go to In-N-Out Burger, I just change timelines. Thoughts are timelines. So if I have a thought about eating pizza. And then I change the thought and say, you know what, I ain't full. I mean, I'm not even hungry. I'm going to go, eat me a cookie and some warm milk and go to bed. Okay, you just changed time out. There's a you eating Popeye's chicken sandwich. There's a you that's not eating at all. There's a you that's homeless. There's a you that's a billionaire. There's a you that's married. There's a you that's single. All of these different versions of you, they all exist at the same time. The only one that manifests is the one that you focus on. Now that shit is hard because there is no such thing as time. There is just a constant, according to physics, there's just a constant emission of everything. Everything exists. It's like a big blankety blank soup of constant past, present, future, all existing at the same time. The only thing that manifests is the thing that you use tenacity. That's why I say, fuck talent. I'll take tenacity. Give me a Negro with some fucking balls. I'll take that Negro over motherfucking Harvard any day. Because why? He ain't quit. He's just like me. You can knock him the fuck out. He'll be back tomorrow. You knock him out tomorrow, his ass will come back the next day. Then he's going to come back with a bat. You whoop his ass and take the bat from him, he's going to come back with two bats. You whoop his ass and take both bats, he's going to come back with a gun. That's me. I ain't quitting, dog, until they put my black ass in the dirt. Or whatever they do. What's the point? If you ain't got that disposition, you're going to have to tap out. Because that's where we at. The day that we are at is we're at a day where your disposition creates what is called syncretism. That's where we at. Now, I didn't create the system. I'm just telling you how it works, especially if you are Al Keelan. Now, if you blonde hair and blue eyes, okay, shit, this show may not be for you. But if you got any melanin in your system, even if you are on your job, bruh, none of us want to. They watching you, homie. Yes, start fucking up on your job. Be late 3 days in a row. Call in sick for a couple of days. Miss a couple of reports or a couple of meetings. Watch how fast they call you now. Excuse me, we'd like to work. We appreciate you. You've been an asset to the company. But we're noticing that, production has dropped off. Is everything going on? We did talk. Anything that we can assist you. Do that a couple of times. Watch how fast they bounce your ass up out of there. So you got to be irreplaceable. In your own head, though. When you get to the place where in your own head, you are vibrating at a space, in a place where you become relentless. That only happens when you invest in yourself. That only happens when you become your number one commodity. Everybody's going to call you selfish, egotistical, arrogant. Does anybody, if you're serious about being serious in this economy, this is the influencer economy. It's interesting how social media influencers work. It's one thing to get attention, it's another thing to influence people. It's one thing to be competent, but it's another thing to be competent. It's interesting, the new generation doesn't give a fuck about how competent you are. Kids, they just like you if you're confident. Not arrogant, though, but confident. So the reason why a lot of people struggle, not only in the group, but in life, they've got no confidence. Now you're good at what you do, but you're not a social media influencer. If I take your page and put you on social media, nobody knows what the fuck you are. Do you have to be a social media influencer? Not at all. That's not the point of tonight's message. There's a lot of people that are powerful in other ways. You may not be one of those people, that's out front. Like, the people that are, in the, let's say, limelight or whatever you want to call it. I understand. But when it comes to your own life, this is where I have a problem. Thankfully, you can kind of hide, like in the background and skate through life. I talk to people every day, and I had a counseling session today with a person who's been married for a very long time, good 30 years, conservatively 30 years. I think it's more than that. And basically, she's miserable. Husband has no idea. Older couple. And the thing that really interests me, as like all the time when I talk to people, is the level of acceptance. So the ARCHONS, those are the originals. So the word arc, when we talk about the ARCHON, those were the original. I don't use the word angels. I use the word angels for lack of a better term. But you got to remember, brothers and sisters, when I talk to people, I do counseling sessions, and I went back to doing more counseling sessions with brand new people. The word arc really means original principle, authority figure. In the ancient text, there were 9 original archons. They established what we call the demiurge, the material world, according to the Sethians. Now, most Cretans never heard of the Sethians because Seth took over because, something happened in the garden. Remember? Somebody smacked the shit out of somebody and their blood started talking. I'm going to break that down too. Because see, your blood is talking, but you're not listening. Not you personally, but So in the garden, Cain slew Abel. Now, Abel, as I would teach this out in the private message, if we have time to get into this, because it's a biblical story, which is an algorithm to control your brain. Cain slew Abel. Now, Cain is gain. Abel is A-B-L. Look at the word. So Cain is Can, or Canaan, or Canaanite. So the Canaanites, they were became the Phoenicians, and they gave us our definition. Remember, Ram, A-B Ram, or Ammon, or A-M-M-O-N, that part of the brain, was supposed to leave Cainism, which is gain, which is materialism, money. So Saul said, leave. Remember he told Abraham to leave Canaan, for the people that know the biblical story. So the archons, these are parasites. These are entities. They feed and they eat adrenochrome, primarily. But they have to have adrenochrome from babies or children. Because our adrenochrome, old people's adrenochrome, is not pure. It doesn't have, it's like in the movie Monsters, Inc. That's why I can't believe they put that in a cartoon. Remember, Sully was Sullivan. You should, guys, I'm going to do a show on that name, Sullivan. We got to break that down as well. So the AB is AB blood. That's why I've been doing DNA reports for 20 plus years. I think I've had 3 people that have AB blood. Supposedly Jesus' blood is AB blood. So AB blood is the rarest blood on the planet. I always remember when I come across somebody that has AB blood, because they're either really fucked up because they are under constant attack, but they don't even know what the fuck they are. I met this one girl, true story, man. I shouldn't say it, y'all might know. She was the head of guest. She works in New York to this day. She's on Facebook, Instagram. She's a client of mine for a long time. And man, this girl was dropped. She's one of those, which is another thing. Most people with AB blood are very attractive. She was one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen, but she's from the Middle East. She was snuck over here because her brothers was trying to do that honor killing shit. because, I don't know, that she showed too much skin. She did something in the Middle East. And anyway, she changed her name, did all of this stuff, and she was in hiding. And she couldn't figure out, like, what I call the shadow people. Now, I don't teach this shit. I don't know if in a second I'm going to go a little deeper. I can't go all the way because I haven't met a person yet that if I tell you the truth, that it doesn't, I make the mistake of telling people everything that I know a few times and they like, it fucked them up. So most people, and I got chastised because I remember I used to tell my children and they kind of fucked up. My oldest daughter, Sade, and my son, BJ, they still kind of fucked up a little bit because they're like, Dad, like, it's hard for us to be normal because we can't talk to nobody about the shit you told us when we were kids. But I was just so excited and I was like telling them like, and I didn't really realize that, damn, never I shouldn't tell no 13-year-old kid all this shit. But I was telling them to protect them so they could see what I see. So they could see, I see devils and demons fucking walking around. Like I can see. So ABs, they have no clue. Like most of them, because we don't know, nobody that I know of can combine spirit and science. Even my boy Santos Bonacci and all these other dudes, my boy, Billy Carson, they're great. But they are either very good at cosmology, they're either very good at theology, or they're very good at biology. To my knowledge, I'm the only fool walking around that's very good at all three. Now, I ain't saying I'm no fucking guru or God's gift to the planet, but I'm trying to express something to you that's extremely important so you can understand why certain people's lives appear to be fucked up. Because there's no way. There are people who are born with silver spoons in their mouth. They don't do shit. And then you over here fucking working 3 jobs like a fucking Hebrew slave and you barely getting by. And I see people that are like, how the fuck this fool, I mean, it's like, yeah, come on, man. Y'all seen some of the stars. Like, how does, like Jimmy Kimmel. How the fuck he get a show? This dude is what, like, check his bloodline though. I mean, everybody's in Hollywood. Kanye West. I am not a Kanye West fan. But I also, Lil Nas X, all of these dudes, man, these are puppets. They're put up there so Will Smith. So that way you can get what? You can have an emotional reaction when they bring him down. Because you love Will Smith over all of these things. They are part of the dominant culture. They're part of the black boule. They have no idea of the ARCHONS that's controlling their talents. Now, they do because they're part of the L's. They're part of the Law of the Rings. Because remember, Saturn has how many rings around it? I'm going to break that down. Saturn has a hexagon on its top and its bottom. That is exactly with the one that's in Mecca. Saturn is the god El. Saturn is the Satan or Saturnalia, which is again back to the inhibitor. It means the word Saturn means to inhibit. So that the frequency wave vibration that's being released, and it affects everybody's blood differently based upon your church type. As I posted on my Facebook channel, that's coming up. I don't know in a second. Why? If you don't understand this, you don't understand how to fight. So some people you can't fight. You got to fight dirty because your blood type. When I say fight dirty, what that means? You got to be like me. So I don't fight her. So I fight by using an entirely different underlying frequency because the tone in your voice determines the speed of your choice. That's why I do everything very extreme. I knew this when I was a kid because of the Minotaur that used to show up in my bedroom at night. Even though I didn't have no bedroom. And my brothers and sisters, they didn't see shit. I was scared because I used to urinate and defecate on myself all up to the first grade. I mean, Miss Kids, I used to sit in class and they'd be like, what's that smell? Because I was too afraid to get up out of my chair because I saw shit that nobody else could see. So I just stayed in my seat and I would piss and poop on myself. My son Kendrick did the exact same thing. And he told me, Dad, I don't know. I said, Kendrick, I know the same shit happened to me. He did not confess until he was 21. I said, Dad, you was right. When I was little, we took him to the doctor. They said he had a clouded kidney. What the fuck is that? He ain't got no damn clouded kidney. He's used to see the same shit. The sins of the father passed down to the son. Now go talk to T.D. Jakes about that. They have no clue of how light energy, how solar events have a particle experience. That's you. You are a solar event. You are a fucking sun, a cosmic coherence. You are a release of dynamic energy. You are what you call Yahweh. You worship Yahweh, you are Yahweh. From the perspective of what Yahweh means, release of an extraordinary power. That's what it is. Yahweh is a descriptive term of a cosmic event. And it is you can re-engineer it, you can reprogram it based upon your voice, but the voice must contain your choice. You must make the number one investment of being yourself. The number one commodity must be yourself. It's interesting that we pay everybody else but ourselves. Think. When the last time you paid yourself? What do I mean? Well, you got a light bill. You got to pay your light bill. You got to pay your water bill. You got to pay your rent. You got to pay. Notice that we pay, and notice how do you pay shit? Anybody know how you pay? You know that we pay with notes. Daily. Anybody got a dollar bill? Take out a dollar bill. It's a Federal Reserve note. It's a fucking musical note. The whole creation, we said at the beginning of the show, water is the universal solvent. But 528 is the universal sound. Music is the universal language. That note, you have a car note. You have a house note. Everything is fucking music on this planet. This is frequencies. They control the banks. The banks are on a river, and the river controls the fucking current. As my boy Maxwell Jordan used to say. This dynamic release of energy is supposed to be channeled. Quantum channeling. We've got to break that down on November the 2nd. So the only way for you to be successful is for you to understand quantum channeling depending on your blood type though. Why? Well, your blood is different from mine. So I'm a positive blood. A positive blood, I'm from Sardis or sawdust. So I got to fight the way Revelations, the book of Revelation, because the word Revelation means unveiling, the book of the unveiling. So you go to church, they just tell you to pray. For what? How? So we have debt codes. Debt codes is just capitalism. Capitalism, like it's capital. Everything got a capital. Birth certificate, marriage license, driver's license, your college degree. Take it out, so baby. Go outside, look at the street sign. I got $100,000. Go outside, look at the street sign. Google your state. Look at your name on your birth certificate. Look at your name on your driver's license. Any official documents, any documents you get from the IRS, it's going to be fucking all capital letters. If you get a summons, what's a summons? When you go to court, you get summoned. Summons, it means to conjure up. This is demonic. They calling them demons. Summons take your ass to court. We don't want to break that down. We're going to break that down on the 2nd. But tonight, I need you to understand. Everybody on this call, as I said at the beginning of the show, you have to use your feelings to know your best possible future. That's what I do. So I'm able to make decisions about my time, my attention, and my concentration. Everybody on this call, y'all way more talented than me. Everybody probably way more better looking than me. But you don't have more tenacity than me. Where do I get my tenacity from? I am not very competent, but I am very confident. My confidence, though, comes from my understanding of cosmology, theology, and biology that I will be sharing with you on November the 2nd. Again, the reason I share this in pieces is because the more you see them, the more they see you. Ignorance is bliss. If you dumb as fuck, demons, they don't fuck with you. Because you don't know shit. You can't fight your way to what they do bad. Not you personally, you know. So in a way, it's good to be dumb as fuck. Because you don't see shit. Because you don't know shit. So ain't nobody gonna be, you gonna have no minotaur. You don't see no freaking, freaking butterfly. You're not gonna see the thin man. I remember we used to have this place, it's called Dead Man's Curve when I was a kid. It was this curve between my grandmother's house and our house. And I used to see a cow turn into a man and a man turn into a cow when I was a little kid. Shit used to fuck me up. I was scared as fuck to go. If it got dark, I would never leave my grandmother's house after dark. There's an old graveyard when I was a kid. My black ass would never walk past that graveyard. Man, it's like somebody calling my name. How the fuck nobody else here and see this shit but me? My childhood was fucked up. From birth until 13, when my mom died, shit got even worse. From birth until 18, my life was fucked up. Then I went to the military and the Marine Corps, and it just got worse. Except I found my home. Because they were devil dogs. And they was trained killers. And they said, boy, we will train you to kill. I was like, ooh-wee. I found home. These parasites or entities, they feed off fear. Preferably unicorn. What stands between you and God is these parasites called ARCHONS. And they are in your blood. And they're in your gut. If you are traditional, low vibrational like Kimila. These 8 blood types and these 8 God types are these ARCHON types. Like me, I'm from the dead church of the dead God that found in Revelation chapter 3, verse 1. Because A positive means sawdust or sardis, S-A-R-D-I-S. This means sorry disc. So I know that I ought to be way more, which is why I am. I understand that my energy baseline consciousness, my divine spark, the language code that activates my quantum biology, the crystal structure, the magnetite that's lying dormant in my DNA and in my pineal gland and in my pituitary gland is Hama. Now, that word H-A-I-M-A, which we'll be breaking down a little bit more also on November the 1st, November the 2nd. You guys want to make sure that you join us. Everybody has H-A-I-M-A. It is what is called your universal fate. The universal fate for them is the enslavement of your divine spark. So the big picture is if you are AB blood, they have to take your spark because your spark is the original spark. It's in your blood, though, because the life of the flesh is in the blood. But we never read, most of us never read the book of Leviticus. So we don't know fuck about the blood. So if we understood what it's called, H-A-I-M-A, how you pronounce that word, therapeutics, which we'll be breaking down during the class. Why? Because right now, you don't know, not you personally, but something, we don't know who we are. We just think that we're black, white, green. We don't know shit that about spirit realm. So in the spirit realm, blood is a container and the carrier of voic, V-O-X, that creates what is called vocare, V-O-C-A-R-E. You can look all this shit up, especially if you're not taking the class. If you ain't joining me on the room second, you really should be looking this shit up, writing this shit down. Because because where we going, where Kanye, what the door that Kanye opened, spiritual ascension is going up against delusions of grandeur. This is the new cosmic prism. It's like there's a prison break on this planet because we're in the age of Aquarius. We're in the age where knowledge is available. Anybody can Google anything now. Since anybody can Google anything, they have to mess up the meaning of everything. So that way you can Google it, but you can't interpret it. So the dominant culture, they put it all in the movies. But they know that you're not going to be able to look at the movie, like the movie that I just watched called Black Box. I'll tell you guys, I'm transferring consciousness. People gonna watch it and they say, "Ooh, that's interesting." They don't know that shit's already happened. It's already happened. They don't know that somebody that you could go flatline in the hospital. They could bring your ass back, but it won't be you. It'll be somebody else. Now they'll say that you had amnesia. They'll say that you got dementia. They'll say something to cover their tracks so that way because they need a body. Remember, sprites are disembodied spirits. They don't got bodies, man. This is sound magic. They need your body. So what they got to do, they got to take out your cosmic energy. They're going to put what is called an ego attachment inside of your body. Or a family member. Be very careful when a family member goes to the hospital, stays overnight, and comes back out. That might not be your family member when they come back. That shit may have happened to you already. You may not be you. This shit happens all the time. But the point of today's message is, that sounds interesting, Doc, but how do I pay my light bill with that? The way that you pay your light bill is with your feelings. So you watching Kanye, how do you feel? He's like, shit, Kanye deserves everything he gets. He put his foot in his mouth, shit, take his money. How did you feel? At the end of the day, you know what you're going to feel? Helpless. Why? Because at the end of the day, your subconscious mind is telling you, shit, if they can fucking take Kanye had 100 mil. He said that he went to check his bank account, 20 mil was gone. This shit's on TikTok. Look at the video. It was by TMZ. $20 million gone. What the fuck is going? I used to work for Wells Fargo. The IRS would go into people's account and just take their money. I would answer those calls. Excuse me. I just take my bank account. I had $20,000 in there. This is a true story. But I used to work for Wells Fargo. That's why one of the reasons I fucking quit. It was the worst job I had because I was a senior billing specialist. Every time they say, I need to talk to a supervisor. You need to give me my money, man. Then they had to transfer the call to me. When I got the call, the fucking dude was on their way. Somebody had to die. They wanted to talk to some man. Where your office at? They was pissed. They fucking go into their account and just take their money. That shit can happen. Well, I just said with PayPal. Thankfully, PayPal changed their mind and said they weren't going to do it. So if they can do that to Kanye West, do you guys know Wesley Snipes when he went to jail? Do anybody remember that? That was back in the West. Do y'all remember Muhammad Ali? In his fucking prime. Muhammad Ali was a heavyweight champion of the fucking world. They sent his black ass to prison. Why? To teach all you other Negroes don't fuck with the white man. This shit is not a game. The same thing is this, but the thing that's blowing my mind is y'all mind. Not you personally, but you know. Why? Seat of the soul. The blood is the seat of the soul. I gotta get access to your soul. So how do I get you to sell your soul to me? This is what they call soul extraction. They are extracting people's souls. Did anybody watch freaking, Monsters Inc.? Did y'all watch Monsters Inc.? It was a fucking cartoon. They was scaring the children, but they put their voice in a fucking container and it powered the whole city with their fucking voice. Man, I wish to God y'all could and understand. Your voice is so fucking powerful. If you ever have a fucking thought, I don't understand why people own disease. I don't give a fuck what disease the doctor says you got. You should never come out your mouth that I got blank. You just fucking curse yourself. I don't give a damn how much money you got. You should never say you fucking broke. I don't care how bad shit's going on in your life. You should never fucking say negative shit about yourself. Ever. That shit is not allowed. Especially if you got AB blood. If you got AB blood, man, you the most dangerous motherfucker on the planet. Because AB is from Philadelphia. What is Philadelphia? You should fucking read Revelations 3:7. We're going to break this shit all down on November the 2nd. If you got old blood, damn, what is positive and negative? My wife had old blood. Pergamon. AB positive. AB negative. There's a specific ARCHON. It's either Yabato, Albato, Astaphoies, Yao, Sabato. All of these are frequencies that your reverend, your doctor, your bishop, you don't know shit about this. You know how I learned all this shit? From fucking witches. Witches, Satanists. Nobody knows no fuck. Do you know who the soldier angels are? The Gregory. Why do Greek fraternities, what do Greek fraternities, this is why I hate black colleges that have Greek fraternities. Them little motherfuckers don't know fuck about what they do. And then niggas got Greek brands on their body. Do you know what you do? You know what happens to the body when you brand it? Do you know what the fuck, why did they brand slaves? Why did you brand cattle? That means that demon, you just branded that fucking demon to your body. Now that demon is with you for fucking life. You got a key to your soul. You just basically sold your soul. When you brand yourself with a fucking... Brothers and sisters, this is a time for you to understand. This omega phi alpha crap. I don't know how a black person can join a Greek fraternity. I don't understand that. That's my first problem. But that's another story for another time. I don't know if you will understand, when you go to church, you got to go to the altar to get saved. I don't know if y'all understand the word altar. It means to alter. Thought. Your brain just got fucked. My life got fucked up as soon as I got saved. Until then, I was fucked up, but I wasn't fucked up. Once I got saved, I got fucked. My brain got altered. That's when you go to the altar to alter. This shit is not a game. Y'all think the devil's playing fair? Anybody read that Satan himself, he transformed himself into an angel of light? And he transformed his demons into ministers? Did y'all read that shit? It's in the Bible in 2 Corinthians. The Bible is the most dangerous book on the fucking planet. The devil knows the Bible better than you. Even though the devil is you. No study for another time. So we're going to break down Michael, Gabriel, Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, Solomon, soul of the man, Mars, Venus, and Gaia or Earth. After November the 2nd, you will understand that what they call the universal gate. And you will understand how mankind is enslaved through Haman, which is blood. How the blood gods, they use 3 things. And this shit is in your Bible. Anybody, now, This is inside of my book, Vatican Control, which is where I got this shit from, about the blood. Everything I know from the blood, I got from the Vatican. Books that's underneath the Vatican, by the way. And I had access to this group that, they started the group that his ass is in prison now. Because the information that he got was, they said it was illegally obtained. I was part of a group called Build Freedom. And all the leaders are dead or in prison. I don't say they stole. They took some, remember, this is inside of my book, Vatican Control. And I don't use names anymore, other than the people that everybody know, like, my boy David Blair, my boy that just recently passed away, not Maxwell Gershom, Jordan Maxwell. So, contrary to my belief, brothers and sisters, we live in a world that uses blood sacrifice, blood orgies, and blood oaths. If you have not been approached like I have, to take a blood oath, to cut your, remember the Native Americans become blood brothers? To co-mingle your blood. So that way they can hijack your spirit. But people do this for money. Or they do this for, a lot of different reasons. Green means black. Red means iron. When I say black, I mean cold. C-O-A-L. Which means cold. C-O-L-D. Which means cold. C-O-D-E. So we have to get into science and metaphysics and spirituality to understand carbon atom, spiritual atom, and material atom. Your DNA is being changed probably already. Your carbon-12 is being changed to carbon-7. Source code is establishing one new neutrino. Right now you got 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons. That's changing. If it hasn't changed already, the dominant culture knows this. If you read Isaiah 6:6, when they're talking about take the cold, came to my lips, that's what's taking place. So source code is taking and changing your carbon so that way you can become a hyperdimensional being. This is called carbon-7. Now the dominant culture knows this. That's why your boy Elon Musk is working overnight. That's why he's funded by the dominant culture. Your boy Bill Gates is working overnight. He's funded by the dominant culture. He's buying up all the land. They have to all the food. They're trying to fuck with the DNA. Now they already did it. If you already got the jab, I don't know. Everything's reversible, but you really want to just not do it. But if you already done it, we do that show some other time. So you got to understand the difference between carbon-12 and the atomic mass, or what's called the isotopes of carbon-12 and carbon-7. Now remember, from there we go to crystals. There's different types of carbon, not just carbon-12. And you can, I don't want to get into chemistry, but shit, there's a bunch of different types of carbon. Carbon is the only structure, though, that can contain and that can trap a whole light. Crystals is light. Carbon can't hold light. Carbon is graphene or graphite. Jesus said in Matthew 23, woe unto graphene, graphite, or carbon. So what Jesus was talking about in Matthew 23, he was talking about carbon. Because the carbon-12, it creates chains. Carbon is a chain, like it says in Jude 6. Carbon chains. It's a C-H-A-I-N. It's a prison. If you want to capture a spirit, you need carbon, not crystals. And so when we understand the game, the big picture, it's about capturing light, trapping light beings, because they don't have light beings. They don't have what we call creativity. Now you can see this by noticing, I don't know, anybody like Colonel Sanders. Most black people don't know that Colonel Sanders stole the recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken from a black man. Most people don't know that all of Elvis Presley's music was written by, his dance and stuff was by a black man. Most people don't know pretty much everything that was done by a black man, by black, because carbon, but it's not carbon, because carbon is not black. Carbon is actually green. But we got conned and tricked because coal, C-O-A-L-S, that's black. Carbon isn't black. That's a different time. But the point is, you're not carbon either. You have carbon, but you are not carbon. But Yahushua said, I'm going to use the foolishness of carbon. So the sun is sending new neutrinos. Carbon-12 has been changed into carbon-7. So now you are going to have one neuron, 6 electrons, 6 protons. The electrons are the L-let. L-let for the elect lady. It's the electricity or the Elohim, but it's for the ladies. The protons is for the particles, or for the pineal gland, or for the penis. That's for the men. So we got the male and the female, and then the one is source, or what the Christians would call Jesus. So we got Jesus with 6 and 6, which gives us 12. It's 1 around 12. That's why the number 13 is always forbidden. That's why most hotels don't have a 13th floor. That's why people are scared of finding the 13th. But it doesn't represent. What it represents is really the coming of Jesus from a Christian perspective. But I ain't no Christian. So from a spiritual, I'm a spiritual guy. I'm not a religious guy. So I'm spirit and science. I'm not Christianity and science. Because I'm not part of Constantine. Because Constantine took out the constellation and put himself in his place. So no, I don't worship the Roman Greek. So I won't be having a Greek plan. I don't want to know about no such Greek gods. Those are false gods. False gods stand between you and the real God. So the divine spark that's lying dormant inside of you, the archon is between you and source. The archons are the creators of what we call the matrix. The archons are the creators of what we call public office or the government. Because what government means, meant to govern. So the archons believe they're supposed to govern. They literally honestly believe that it is their birthright. Like over in Italy, not Italy, England. These fools literally believe that you're supposed to bow down and kiss their ring finger when they show up. The fuck I do? But they believe that. They really believe that they're blood because they are the descendants of the original archon. In the Greek, the word archon is ruler. In the ancient title was public office. Archon means public office. It means government. So the word archon means an angel or a demon in government. Archons are the creators of what we call reality. All materialism is dumbed down crystals. So carbon is so Lucifer, as I talked about inside of my book, Cosmology, this whole any material matter is the manipulation of nature, or a mother. So the rulers, they laid down their plans. Let me read the excerpt from my book. The rulers, this is inside my book, Cosmology. The rulers, they laid down their plans. They say, come, let us create a man that we will be soil. Let us create a man that will be soil from the earth. They then molded their creature as one solely of the earth. Now the rulers took and created from the earth body that they have, and then it's blank because there's no text. Then it says female, then the blank, no text, is, and then blank, no text. Yeah, all of this stuff from text that run into the Vatican, and a lot of these dead old scrolls, they have missing words in it because, it's so old. Then it says blank, 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 with the face of a beast. So they made something from dirt. It was female. It had the face of a beast. Of a beast. They had taken some soil from the earth and they molded they modeled it after a man, after their body and after the image of God that had appeared to them in the waters. And this is interesting because the God appeared to them in the waters. That's why the Pope wears a mitre, which is a fish head, on as his hat. Now, Onis is a god, or the fish god. He's spelled O-A-N-N-E-S. Now, this dude, Onis, was a Babylonian god, and he was a god of the ocean. He was supposed to be half fish and half human. According to this Google, Onis, and he was a Dagon, D-A-G-O-N. Now, Onis, that's what they saw. And they fashioned their creation after this dude. Now, all this is in the ancient text. Where's the Epic of Gilgamesh? Where is the Codex Gigas? Where is the Bhagavad Gita? It's pretty much the same creation story. Now, I could sit and read about the reality of the ARCHONS, but all this is inside of my book, The Cosmology Theology. It's very similar to what is written in the book of Genesis, basically chapters 1, 2, and 3, because of the creation story. The point of the matter is, these dudes were fallen angels, or fallen angels. But they created what you and I call man and woman. They created what you and I call reality. There's a book called The Hypostasis of the Archons. This book is only found at the Yale University Library. So if you go to Yale and take ancient Christianity, there's a professor by the name of Bentley Layton, B-E-N-T-L-E-Y, Layton, L-A-Y-T-O-N. He's a professor of Christian studies and religious studies at Yale. Well, he used to be. The reason I know because the fool actually called me one day. Well, somebody from his office called me, I should say. I don't answer the phone from strange numbers I don't know, so they left me a voicemail. Why? About how did I get that knowledge that I put inside of my book, The Vatican Deception. Because in there I break down the creation of what you call Yabato. From Yabato all the way down to Noah. And after Noah, something happened to which me and you, we are the results of this. After Noah, something happened. What happened? We'll close with this. Because again, we're getting into the private message that we're going to be breaking down on in a second. So after Noah, the alpha beta offspring of angel and man changed. Then the offspring of man and the offspring of a wombed man changed. Then the offspring of angels changed. Then RH positive and RH negative appeared on the planet. Before then, there's no such animal. So the bloodline after the flood changed. AB, A, B, and O. So in the power message we get to break down, we are the descendants of what changed after the flood from Shem, Japheth, Ham, Noah. According to the biblical narrative, those names are totally different in the Sumerian text, in the Codex Gigas, in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Exact same story, but they got different names. Those are the original names, which is hard as fuck to pronounce. The only reason I mention that is because that establishes your pattern. So the reason that you act the way that you act is because of how your voice hits your container. Now remember, the voice means the words that you don't say to yourself. I mean, that you don't speak with your words, but that you say to yourself. When you sit there like right now, you probably say to yourself, damn, I was out here to fuck up. I got shit to do. Okay, I heard you, bro. I'm almost done. And so that sound cooks your blood. Now, Hollywood, they call it spirit cooking. Remember that girl, the old girl, Helen, not Helen Velasquez, remember the crazy lady name? I forgot her name. What was her name? Big G? Anyway, I think her name was. But anyway, she's the queen of spirit cooking. And it's interesting because it means cooking blood. Now remember, Old Testament, the God of the Old Testament loved the smell of burning flesh. How come? Ooh. He loved blood orgies. How come? Ooh. He loved blood oaths. That's the whole circumcision. What? Cut the head of your pecker, the skin of your pecker off. Do you know that some of the foods used to suck the blood off the skin after they cut that off of children? Do you know that that's a custom and a certain rely on? Cooking from the spirit. Spirit cooking. Man, that is some crazy shit. Maria Bravovich, that was her name. Brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, your job is to make sure that you are listening to your gut. I said all of that to get to this point. You are consciousness. Therefore, you exist everywhere in space, in and out of space, in and out of time. Messages from your gut or from your intuition about your past, about your present, and about your future. They rely on your feedback. So that way you can alter. If you're going to the altar, you are the altar. You are the altar that you go to get paid. From the perspective of you alter yourself by changing your mind based upon making a choice. You see, your tuition is telling you, in your gut, it is asking you, what would you like your future to be? So right now, as I'm talking, you have a feeling, and your feeling is consumed about the past, about the present, about something in the future, usually bad. Because fear is more powerful than faith on this dimension. So you're supposed to feel the choice that you already made. You see, we have no excuses for making choices without knowing ahead what the consequences will be. You know what the consequences of a choice is going to be. Because you can look ahead and see if you make this choice, it's going to lead to this outcome. Why? You're a spirit. Your spirit knows everything. Your spirit knows every experience that you have already chosen. You just are not listening. So before you make any choice, think. Think about how you would feel after you have already made that choice, and it went out to its fruition. Meaning, if you could see how it would feel, how it feels, not how it looks, not how it sounds, how it feels. If I make a choice right now, how does it feel when I get the result of that choice? Feeling is the only sense that perceive beyond sight and sound. Feeling. Know what God has said, which is where I got a lot of this shit from anyway. Feeling is a secret. So even when something looks right, something sounds right, and unlogically it appears right, but you got a feeling something's off. Learn to trust your feelings. Your gut feelings. I'm not talking about your emotional shit that's in your head. I'm talking about your gut. There is something that you are overlooking if what you're feeling is not manifesting. As we said at the beginning of the show, everybody on this call has a belief. Unfortunately, that belief is probably going against your feeling. In your gut, you got a different feeling. Your core design, your beliefs are probably in conflict with your core design. That's how you have a block. Because your blood is the container and the carrier of your voice. But your voice is your vocare. Your vocare is what is called your, like my boy, KRS-One, Rockstar. Your voice is all of the possible, probable future outcomes of your vibrations. Your voice is the consciousness. It's the ability to connect your consciousness to an alternate reality that fits your feelings. That alternate universe, it exists already. It's in what's called your probable future. You got to take your potential and it gets you to your probable future using your feelings. That frequency that you sense, that's your feeling. That's your deep core true self. That's your higher self telling you that, hey, you need to alter the state of the universe that you live in. So is the state of the universe that you live in right now the desirable one for you? Do you feel magnanimous right now? Do you feel love, joy, peace? Do you feel like a fucking rock star or a groupie right now? Then the question is, what is the alternative feeling? What is the desirable feeling that you want? See, the feeling that you get must be the desirable feeling, which means that you are knowing ahead of receiving how you would feel when you arrive at that universe. This is how your spirit tells you that's a good choice. I know what decisions to make. I know what show to do. I know what book to write. I know everything to do. Because I ask myself, okay, if I decide to do, if I make this choice, what am I going to feel like? And then, what are people around me going to feel like? How do I feel? And that choice is based upon that feeling. I make choices that make me feel magnanimous. And I don't make choices that don't make me feel magnanimous. I move in the direction where there's love, joy, peace, gentleness, and self-control. I make those choices. And I stop making choices that take love, joy, peace, gentleness, and self-control. All future outcomes exist right now. You are a fucking superstar. You can go to any timeline you want. But the speed, how fast you get to that timeline, that's determined by your natural, supernatural powers. When you get out of artificial light and you operate in your true God-given power, just like the sun, you are a fucking solar event. You can power the whole universe by your cells, which is the inside of yourself. So tonight, your neutrinos mean new energy from the sun. You are receiving new energy from the sun right now as I speak. And the sun I'm talking about is not the sun in the sky. It is the sun that is 7 times hotter, brighter, and contains more information than our sun. That's the sun of God that is talking to me and you as we speak. So tomorrow, brothers and sisters, we continue with another introduction to the series that starts on November the 2nd to prepare the soil for your cosmic, your theological, and your biological advancement. So now you will be using the universal solvent, the universal language that activates the universal code. All that shit's in your DNA. I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. We're going to see you mañana. God bless.